So I'd say every couple of months, it probably happens. I stumble across a new thing, something from my past, from childhood, from trauma that could use some dismantling, if you will. And something that I have found to be incredibly useful in this process is this journaling protocol that I learned from Huberman Lab, which I'll link to below. But the long and short of it is that I take whatever this traumatic memory is that has come up. Often it's something that I did not know was affecting me in the past. And then some stuff happened to come up recently that made me go, oh, okay, apparently this memory that was just in the background had some more intensity and effect than I thought it would. So I'll pull up I'll do this protocol. It's this very simple. You take this memory and sit down and journal about it for 15 minutes. Do that 4 times. It could be 4 days in a row. It could be 4 weeks in a row. I typically like to hammer it out 4 days. And each time you sit down, you set a timer for 15 minutes and just write about it. Write every detail of the memory that you can think of. And I've done it for a few different things, and it's very interesting, the things that come up, the variations of the memory shift, things that I had just completely forgotten about why this particular memory was sticking out in my head. I'm able to address that. And then I'm not a mental health professional, but one of them could explain to you the value of, getting in there and almost like inoculating it, facing whatever this thing was. And I've done this, I think, like 5 or 6 times in the past couple of years. And it's really given me immense value. Today I did the first one for a new series, and it is something that had come up around, I've lately been really like processing my stuff around money. Like a couple of weeks ago, last month maybe, I feel like it was the first time I was able to just really out loud say, I hate money. I effing hate money. Like, I hate it. And I always knew I had frustrations with it, and, dealing with all that the starving artist identity crap, right? But I don't think I'd ever summed up the courage to just like out loud say, I hate money. And I'd always known that it was like connected to issues with my father and feeling that he loved money more than me. And that's certainly a long thing to get into. And I'm not sharing that in order to bash him. I've recently definitely entered a chapter in life where I've learned that the more I express these things, the easier it is to move on from them. And with Middle Eastern culture, with Iranian culture, we hold a lot of secrets. We keep a lot of the stuff hidden away. And I've lately been making peace with this realization that I can express these things without bashing the person. These two things don't need to happen at the same time. And that's what I'm experiencing now. So specifically with my father, I had this childhood memory that I'd completely forgotten all about that recently kind of resurfaced. And then when I started to do this journaling protocol, I saw that it had more effect than I realized it did. And I don't know how old I was. I was probably like 5. And TLDR, he had some money sitting there on a shelf, and I just had this new wallet. It was like my first time having a wallet, and I took a couple of bills out of this money. And a few weeks later, he caught me. He found the money in my wallet. And of course I was a child. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what the value of it was. I thought it was this, I don't know, silly little heist thing to do. And he was really ashamed and embarrassed because that money apparently was something that he was holding for somebody else, and he had to give it back to them. And when that person called him and said that there's a few bucks missing from this, it brought him a real deep shame. And he went to town on me. I got the belt. That was one of two occasions that I had the worst beating from him. Um, and I guess I always looked back on that and just thought, oh, it's growing up in Iran, his dad probably hit him way harder than me, all that kind of stuff, right? I didn't really allow myself to process these feelings that came up around it. But now, recently, as I've been processing new stuff around money and looking for ways to like activate income and business, and seeing that there's this like deeply ingrained starving artist narrative that is just like deep it's in the DOS code, man. Like, it's not logical. I don't logically believe that artists should be starving. Quite the opposite, in fact. But it's in there, and so exploring that brought me back to this journaling protocol, and I started to write about it, and I saw, oh yeah, I wonder if this particular experience has left some body trauma around money for me. Like my they didn't know any better. My dad, they didn't have like psychology and therapy and the kind of stuff that we have access to these days. He didn't know what kind of damage he was doing. And I don't know exactly. I'm going to be writing about it 3 more times. It's a 4-time protocol. And I anticipate, as it has played out in the past, more new information will come up, more new vantage points, more interesting kind of stuff around like variations and thoughts about how it could have affected, and the thoughts. And I think for me, though, this first time, the big thing that came around was the amount of shame that he projected onto me, like the deep disappointment that he had in me as a person. I was 5. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know any of this. There was like some stacks of paper. And it's kind of like, I think a lot about puppies. When we receive that beating as children, it's like beating up a dog that doesn't understand why you're hitting him, why you're yelling at him. You come home and, I don't know, there's poop on the ground or something, and then you kick the dog and yell at the dog, and the dog has no idea. They're not processing what it is. All they know is that the person that they love and trust the most, who they rely on for life, is now a monster and is attacking them. So anyway, stuff I'm processing. I don't blame him. I am working through these things, and part of my own process of working through these things is expressing these ideas and sharing them with the world, even if there's 3 of you watching. But expression, just getting it out of my system, getting it out into the world, so that I can continue on this path of healing. And I've always been incredibly grateful and appreciative for the amount of access to health and mental health and growth that we have these days, that my parents' generation just simply did not have access to. It didn't exist. It's normal now. So they were doing their best. But yeah, this is what I'm working through. I am done hating money. I'm ready to forgive money. Anyway, yeah. So I'll link to the Huberman Lab episode. It's been immense. It's helped me out with multiple amazing breakthroughs. So check that out.